The siege had lasted 47 cycles, and the Krell defense fortress remained impenetrable. Commander Emma Reeves watched from the command deck as another plasma barrage splashed uselessly against the energy shields. Her jaw clenched. They were running out of time, ammunition, and options. "Ma'am, the gate's resonance frequency is shifting again," Lieutenant Park reported, frustration evident in his voice. "Whatever algorithm they're using, it adapts faster than we can compensate." Emma nodded grimly. The Krell siege gate was legendary throughout the galaxy, a quantum-locked barrier that had never been breached by conventional means. 12 species had tried. 12 species had failed. And now humanity's first major offensive hung in the balance. Behind her, she heard the familiar heavy footsteps. Jack Morrison, barely 23 standard years old, approached with that unsettling calm he always carried before a drop. The other Marines called him Earthborn Doom when they thought he couldn't hear. Emma had seen the footage from Proxima 7. She understood why. "Permission to go planetside, Commander," Jack said. It wasn't really a question. "Jack, we've thrown everything at that gate? Kinetic bombardment, quantum disruptors, even tried hacking their network. What exactly do you think one Marine can accomplish?" Jack's dark eyes held something ancient. Something that reminded Emma why Earth's gravitational pull was considered a death sentence by most galactic standards. Humans were the only species crazy enough to evolve on a 1G death world. And Jack had spent his entire childhood in the high-gravity training facilities of New Colorado 1, 4G. Every single day. "I can open it," he said simply. The veterans in the room, the Centauri Rangers, the Tau Ceti Commandos, species who had fought across 100 worlds, they went quiet. They'd seen what humans could do when pressed. They'd watched Jack tear through a Krell warship's hull with nothing but a plasma cutter and sheer determination. But this was different. "The gate's made of compressed neutronium alloy," Emma said carefully. "The energy field alone would vaporize anyone who got within 5 meters. Not if the field's generator is overloaded from the inside." Jack pulled up a holographic schematic. "There's a maintenance shaft here. Shielded but accessible. I get in, I physically damage the core stabilizers, the whole thing cascades. Gate opens for approximately 47 seconds before backup systems engage. That's suicide, Morrison." "It's the mission, ma'am." Emma looked at the young man, really looked at him. Jack wasn't exceptional because of genetic modification or advanced technology. He was exceptional because Earth had forged him in a crucible that would have killed any other species before they learned to walk. His bones were denser than Krell combat armor. His reflexes operated at speeds that made most aliens nauseous just watching. His cardiovascular system could function in atmospheric pressures that would crush a Centauri's thorax, and he was volunteering to crawl into hell itself. 47 seconds, Emma repeated. "That's barely enough time for the assault teams to breach." "Then they'd better be ready, Commander." 6 hours later, Jack descended through the planet's atmosphere in a stealth pod. The Krell sensors swept past him, fooled by the pod's minimal heat signature. He landed 3 kilometers from the fortress in a crater field left by the bombardment. The march was silent. Jack moved with the patience of a predator, each step calculated, his breathing controlled despite the 1-2 gravity that would have exhausted any other species. His suit's sensors painted the fortress in thermal gradients, hot spots where generators pulsed, cold zones where the quantum shields concentrated. The maintenance shaft was exactly where intelligence said it would be. Jack unsealed it with a plasma torch, the heat washing over his suit's ablative coating. Inside, the tunnel descended at a 60-degree angle. Barely wide enough for his shoulders, he crawled. The shaft's walls hummed with energy, the quantum field's resonance vibrating through his bones. Most species would have suffered cellular degradation within minutes. Jack felt the familiar ache, the same sensation from training in the hyper-G chambers, and pushed forward. 20 minutes, 30, his muscles screamed. But muscles on Earth learned to scream early and work anyway. The core chamber opened before him, like a cathedral to alien engineering. Massive crystalline structures pulsed with captured starlight, feeding the gate's impossible power requirements. And there, at the center, the stabilizer arrays 7 interlocking rings of neutronium, suspended in a magnetic field that would tear apart anything metallic. Jack stripped off his gauntlets. Bare hands only, he stepped into the field. The pain was immediate and absolute. The magnetic forces tried to rip the iron from his blood, the calcium from his bones. But Jack had trained for this. Humans didn't just resist their environment, they conquered it. He grabbed the first stabilizer ring and pulled. The metal shrieked. Alarms screamed throughout the fortress. Jack's hands bled, his muscles tore, but he'd carried twice his body weight. Up mountains in 4G, he'd broken concrete with his fists since he was 12. He was born on a world that tried to kill everything, and he was Earth's answer to every species that thought gravity was just a number. The first ring cracked. Then the second. The third shattered under his grip. The cascade began. Gates fluctuating. Lieutenant Park shouted on the command deck. "It's Commander, it's opening." Emma didn't hesitate. "All assault teams, go, go, go." The siege gate, impregnable for 3 centuries, fell, not to superior technology or brilliant strategy, but to one human who understood that sometimes the solution was exactly as simple and brutal as it appeared. Jack. Morrison crawled out of the maintenance shaft 43 seconds later, his hands ruined, his body broken, but alive. As medics rushed to him, he looked up at the sky where the human fleet was pouring through the breach. The veterans watched in silence. Then they began to understand what the galaxy would learn in time. Humanity didn't win because they were the smartest or the fastest, or the most advanced. They won because they were forged on a world that should have killed them. And instead, they learned to kill it back. Earthborn doom indeed.